The art of handicraft making has undergone a transformation. Traditionally, handicrafts are made from rattan and mengkuang leaves obtained from the forest, but now weavers are more innovative and creative. They turn to plastic in producing colourful products, and the results receive a good response from the public. The art of weaving requires patience and creativity. For those who have a deep interest in the art, patience pays off. The most rewarding moment is seeing the happy look on the customer's face. Regardless of the price, customers look for quality. Dayang Aisha, a weaver, says she can finish 2 products a day, on a good day, and prices range from $15 to $20, depending on the size of the weaved product. The Malay handicrafts play an important role in the lifting of the image of the products. A creative and innovative method can bring changes in expanding the craft to a higher level. An exhibition of 50 objects from Singapore's first 3 decades of independence was launched recently. The items were buried in a time capsule in 1990 during the country's 25th anniversary celebrations. Mr. Koh Boon Long vividly remembers gang fights and robberies during the 60s. Then he was serving national service part-time in the police division. Now 69 years old, Mr. Koh feels proud that he helped to keep the streets safe.
Radio calls and said, okay, there was a fight somewhere in the Great World area, and we went there and a gang clash, and there's one, or robbery, perhaps a report that somebody had been robbed of his bicycle. Imagine those years of bicycles were very precious, and so we had to investigate and try to, bring back the person.
For Mr. Koh, the exhibition brought back those memories, and he pointed out familiar objects. And each of the items in the exhibition tells a story. For example, this signboard was from the first NTUC Fair Price supermarket in Singapore. It was opened in Toa Payoh in 1973, and it helped to moderate the cost of living for Singaporeans. Here, Miss Maria Koo Joseph, Assistant Curator at the Asian Civilizations Museum, explains more.
The oldest items is probably actually a photograph of the original 1965 Parliament, or even the first call-up notice for the first batch of national servicemen. That was in 1967. So there are a few of these items that come from the first 5 years of Singapore's independence.
The exhibition, held at the Asian Civilizations Museum till late September, seeks to showcase Singapore's development. Singapore Education Minister and Chairman of the SG50 Steering Committee, Heng Swee Keat, launched the exhibition titled Unearthed Singapore at 25.
What we buried 25 years ago allows us to better appreciate our progress as a nation and how our lives have changed and improved. 5 years ago.
Mr. Heng also announced there will be an SG50 time capsule, which will be opened in 2065.
We invite the public to give your suggestions on the objects that should be in the time capsule, as well as your reflections on why these objects are important and meaningful. I think it is meaningful for us to come together to look at what are important for us in the past and the present, and to express our hopes and aspirations for our future.
The public will be invited to give their suggestions in about 2 months' time. Atapu International Airport was handed over to the Laos government recently by the Hoang An Gia Lai Group, which funded construction of the facility through an interest-free loan of more than $36.1 million. Attending the ceremony was Laos Deputy Prime Minister Somsavat Lengsavat and Atapu Provincial Governor Dr. Nam Viaket, along with other officials from Laos and Vietnam. Construction of the airport began in May 2013 and was completed last month. The airport is located at Seta district, about 26 kilometers from Atapu provincial capital. The runway is 1,850 meters long and 30 meters wide and can accommodate aircraft that have 70 to 100 seats. Lao Airlines is considering operating 2 flights a week between Vientiane and Atapu. On the return journey, the flight will transit at Paxi International Airport in Champasak province to pick up passengers wanting to travel to Vientiane. Atapu and Champasak airports are about 200 kilometers apart. Passengers can obtain more information from Lao Airlines ticketing agencies. The option of an air route between Vientiane and Atapu is good news for people wanting to save time, as the bus journey takes 1.5 days. Of the 4 southern provinces of Champasak, Saravan, Zikong and Atapu, only Champasak and Atapu have an international airport. As Muslims in Malaysia are celebrating Hari Raya Aidilfitri, some families are enjoying the month-long festive season, although they do not have proper roofs over their heads. Some of them are still living in tents and makeshift huts they now call home, while waiting for donors and the authorities to help rebuild their lives, 8 months after a major flood ravaged their homes and villages. Losing their homes and possession in the floods did not deter 15 families in a village in Guamusang district, Kelantan, from making last-minute preparations for Aidilfitri. For the celebrations, those squatting in the tents could only afford to buy basic essentials like raya cookies and cakes, a few pieces of clothes and bamboo oil lamps to cheer up their family members. These families have been offered a place at the transit homes or the national service camps until their new houses are ready, but they prefer to remain where they are. Clean water and electricity are accessible at the campsite. The government is taking the efforts to build permanent homes to more than 1,000 families in Kelantan who lost their home in the deluge. Ku Amran Kumat, tent dweller, said this is the first they are staying in a tent. It is history for them to celebrate Raya here. They were offered to move to temporary homes, but they decided to stay put to experience Raya in tents. Ku Amran admitted that this Hari Raya will certainly be a subdued one, but remains hopeful that the permanent home promised to them will be ready soon. Nonetheless, they are thankful that they still have a roof over their heads, although it appears to be devoid of the festive mood. During the day of the festivities, the tent dwellers merrily celebrated the coming of Shawwal with others as a big family living together for the past 7 months. Refusing to indulge in self-pity, these families welcome Aidilfitri by decorating their tents and making simple dishes like the traditional meat rendang and lemang, or glutinous rice cooked in bamboo. While the adults are busy with the preparations, the kids enjoy themselves playing with fireworks, which is part of the tradition. Another tent dweller, Ramla Ismail, said since there are so many of them here, it is very merry and the children have a good time and it feels like home. Tuan Muhammad Tuan So said of course they are sad, but when they are together, that sad feeling isn't there. He added their relatives still come to visit them. Despite the adversities, Hari Raya brought cheers to the flood victims in one way or another. The devastating floods of December 2014 were unprecedented in the history of Kelantan, with more than 10 people killed and thousands displaced. Villagers in Chiang Mai are taking a training course to use buffalo to plough their rice field to conserve the centuries-old practice that have faded away. Rong or village looks to relive the farming method of their ancestors and pass on to younger generation. A paddy field for glutinous rice had been prepared using the traditional practices of the old days. Elementary students will take part in the training course and learn of the roots of Thai traditional rice farming. In the past decades, mechanical plows replaced buffaloes, but recently farmers with supports from government agencies and cultural movements have regained preference on buffalo plowing. The legendary Russian ballet of Swan Lake was staged live and in 3D in the Hanoi Convention Center recently. For the first time, the ballet was performed in the new 3D format, which gave audiences a brand new experience. Dubbed as the ballet of all ballets, Swan Lake is a combination of pure romanticism, a story about love, and Tchaikovsky's classical music. The legendary ballet was performed solely in Hanoi by 100 artists from the Russian ballet theatre Talarium at Lux. All of the 3,500 seats in the Hanoi Convention Center were full. Eliza Vita Nebesnaya, lead female dancer, Russian ballet theatre Talarium at Lux, said she is so happy to see warm love and support from the audience. She feels that they and the audience held a connection and they were able to communicate with each other through the language of music and dance. She feels completely delighted. Ivan Nestorov, dancer, Russian ballet theatre Talarium at Lux, said he felt a little bit eager because he didn't know if Vietnamese audiences would like their performance or not. They tried their best to convey the ballet's artistic values. This ballet is a fairy tale and it contains wonderful messages. The new 3D technology was the highlight of the performance. Shown on LED screens covering 300 square meters, images of vast forests, gigantic castles and Russian palaces in 3D became surreal. This took the legendary ballet to a new level. Vyacheslav Yakovlev, technician, Russian ballet theatre Talarium at Lux, said they used huge LED screens. They also have a special team taking care of all illustrational images in 3D for the ballet. He said everything has to be perfect to appear right on time with dancers' moves or changes of setting. After each part of the ballet, it took time for audiences to settle down. They exploded with applause and support for the dance troupe. Tran Thi Viet Chung, audience member, said she feels really touched about the love story and its humanitarian values. Moreover, the art of ballet and music was really wonderful. Artist of Merit Ngo Din Tak, director, Viet Bach Folk Music, Song and Dance Theatre, said he has seen the ballet many times before, but this was a new experience for him. Together, the 3D technology and ballet is a great combination. One show seems to be not enough for audiences in Hanoi. The bold combination of modern 3D technology and the classical art of ballet had made it possible to reach new generations of audiences.